Hi guys, another absolutely freezing evening in, I don't know if I should take this off, Norfolk-Suffolk border. So I think I'll switch this off, otherwise you won't be able to hear me. People will be complaining. It's too noisy, I couldn't hear you. Alright, you can hear me now. Hopefully I'll be getting a new setup so you can hear me better. I'll have a proper microphone soon, okay? So that's one great thing. So with a proper microphone, people won't complain. It's actually, with this phone that I have, it should be okay. You know, you should be able to hear me on both sides. Whereas the other old phone was mono. You can hear me mostly on one speaker, and the other speaker you can't hear. So people who are using headphones were maybe peed off. But I've got this new phone which sounds better, but I'm going to get a microphone as well. So things are moving up. So that's more I owe. But you have to invest, you have to get down on the roulette table of life, don't you? As I said before, in the Bible, it says, you know, I'm joking, right? These Christians that think I'm not joking. As Christians, if we can't joke about ourselves, we can't have any fun. Because you definitely can't joke about like Islam or Judaism. You can't joke about anything. So we have to be able to joke about ourselves, right? So take what I say with a pinch of salt, as they say. Yeah, so you have to get down on the roulette table of life. What did the Bible say? Is it Jesus or somebody said? I forget, but to him that hath, more shall be added or given. To him that doesn't have, even that little bit that he fucking has will be taken away. Words to that effect anyway. Even that little that he has, more will be taken away. So basically, if you're stingy with money, that's what it means to me. If you're stingy with money and you don't invest, you don't make that money work for you, then that little bit that you have will be taken away. So this little bit that I have, I'm investing. So he that hath, even him that hath 10 quid, and you invest it, more shall be added. Hopefully not more coals to my head, but oh no. I didn't know. The road is closed, so there's a detour here. I was just about to turn left, but the car behind me knew that, and yeah, I didn't realise. So some guys were asking me, what was I like as a child? And I'll tell you, I was gullible. That's the first word that comes into my head to describe the kind of person I was, the boy I was. I was really gullible. Because, you know, I didn't have any brothers or sisters. I had cousins, and I had one like favourite cousin who was like a brother, but I never saw him every day. Like once a week, once every 2 weeks, my parents would go there, or sometimes my cousin would come over. You know, his parents would come. I think at some point they tried to make it a weekly thing so I could see, you know, my cousin. But I grew up a loner, you know, and what was I like as a kid? As I said, the first thing that comes to mind, yes, gullible, but I was a good boy. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I was a really good boy. Shy, didn't make trouble, you know, so I don't know how to describe myself. An only child, and so I became really good at playing with toys, plastic. I used to love plasticine, which is a kind of Play-Doh, the English version of Play-Doh. Plasticine, I don't think had any smells to it, but whereas Play-Doh did, actually sickening smells, like strawberry and stuff. But yeah, I think I was quite creative when I was younger because I didn't have many toys, and so I used to play with my hands. Like this hand was like, this is a head, and these are two arms. Like it was like a boxer would fight against this boxer, and make all the sound effects as well. And then I had toy soldiers. I used to play with toy soldiers. One of my best toys or toy sets that I can remember was these kind of medieval castle, and it was so cool because you can open up the drawbridge, and yeah, I remember that toy. I really loved that toy. There's a castle there, and you've got like your soldiers, your knights, you know, and yeah, I remember that. I used to like playing with that. I didn't really used to like, you know, Action Man. He looked like a bloody criminal. Like, there's spikes, like a skinhead, and an evil face with a a scar, I think. He just looked like a bloody criminal. So I don't know. We didn't really have. Well, we had Hot Wheels, but I don't think that we could afford them. So I played with like toys. Like I used to do this funny thing actually. We used to bring toys at school, and we used to get scissors and scrape off all the paint, and then it came out as silver, and it looked really shiny. You had a really cool shiny toy, and there was some kind of a ramp or a dip. And we used to race our cars, let them go, and see which one got to the wall first. So we used to have these races at school. But I was scared because you know, some of the black kids might steal them off you because they might say tax, and they take your toy. So I didn't really want to do that because I wasn't one of the kids, the cool kids. Like some of the black kids could go in there and they have like connections, they have friends. But not many of the white kids. You have to be like a really cool white kid in order to have connections, you know. Tough guy. I wasn't black or one of the white kids that was tough. I was the shy kid, the chubby, fat, not fat, but chubby, shy, weirdo. I used to, as I said before, used to look out of the window and daydream, and I used to look at the clouds and look at I used to see beautiful patterns, and also used to see like dragons, strange faces. I used to be mesmerized, you know. And that's when I would get in trouble because the teacher would say, "Gerald, what did I say?" And I wouldn't know what the teacher said, and all the kids would laugh at me. So I said, "Oh, sorry, teacher. Sorry, I was just." She goes, "You're daydreaming again." I said, "Oh, sorry." And I would go red, you know. You know, it's kind of abuse, isn't it? You know. I mean, looking back, obviously the teacher didn't know that I had ADHD, inattentive type. Neither did I. And so she probably thought I was naughty. So then again, I think later on I would look out again. It would just draw me like really beautiful clouds. They look like huge like balls of cotton wool. It just looked amazing. And I'd be looking up again, Gerald! And then again the laughs would come. What was I just talking about? Maybe you can explain to us the theory of... I said, sorry, I was just... And then, I don't know. But the teachers were cruel at the time. They would call you names like oaf or things like that. So I grew up thinking I was an oaf. I grew up thinking I was weird. I was rubbish. I couldn't focus. So, and I'm not actually focusing on the road because I've just reached the place where I'm not supposed to go. The road ahead is closed. That's wonderful. But that makes sense though, because I'm talking to you guys. So I should have turned a long way. So yeah, it's been redirected, a diversion here. It's supposed to turn left here somewhere. Yeah, so going back to my past as a child, I remember going to Sicily in the summertime. We couldn't afford to go every summer, so every like 2 summers, when mum and dad like made enough money every summer, that was brilliant. But you know, as they got older, I can see that they couldn't afford, so they would go every two years. And I was sad then, you know, in the summertime, I went to spend the summer in London. But it was good, spending the summer in London, you know, as a child, because I was so used to going to Sicily to visit my grandparents. And then when I didn't, I felt a bit, I don't know, having to spend summertime in London, a bit boring. Because you don't get the same seaside, the same beach, the same, you know. You know, with your like relatives, and so yeah. So what do I remember about my past? As I keep saying, I was a good kid. You know, what were my hobbies? It depends what age. You know, when I was young, I used to like playing with. I never liked playing with Lego. Funnily enough, my friends did, but I didn't. So I never knew what that Lego stuff was all about. That Lego craze. I like the Rubik's Cube craze. Skateboard, nope, I didn't really like, because I think my parents were really protective for me, and like when I was 16, I used to get these magazines. I used to want an enduro kind of motocross bike, and I knew which one it was. It was the Husqvarna, yellow and blue colours. That's so cool. But my dad said no, 4 wheels are better than 2, and I didn't like him at the time. I said, Dad, I really want that. I don't know why should I have to have 4? I want 2 wheels, I want a motocross. You know. Luckily, you know, I listened to my dad, and because you know they are dangerous. There was a story of a guy when I was about 19. This guy was also 19, and I knew him through a friend of the family. Yeah, he got, I think he was 19, but anyway, he got a really powerful one of those like Bugatti, those racing motorbikes, and he couldn't handle it. It was too powerful. He lost control, and he flew over a flyover, and he ended up. Where did he end up? He ended up on a motorway, and he was crushed by cars and a lorry, and he was dead. So when I heard stories like that, I thought, oh, thank God my dad, you know, I listened to my dad, and you know, knowing me, I would do something nutty, like do wheelies, go around the corners fast. Because with ADHD, you tend to have that impulse, and you know, like when people are up your ass, you know, tailgating you, you tend to take it personally, and so I end up speeding up and taking corners fast, and I kind of think, yeah, you can't follow me now, can you? You can't bully me now, because I see it as being bullied. You see, I take it personally. So, and I think, yeah, all right, you try and do what I just did. And they can't, but eventually they catch up. And if they like racing, then you've got a problem or a challenge challenge that I happily like to indulge in, but it's illegal. You cannot. Racing is illegal. You shouldn't race, you know, and it's illegal for a reason. It's bloody dangerous. I don't like racing, but at the time, something takes over and I race. When I say race, I don't go. Well, I used to. Sorry, I don't do it anymore. And I would say to any of you guys, don't do it, because all it takes is one mistake. You can kill a child, a human being, a dog, kill yourself, or whoever's in the car, your loved ones. You know, it's as I'm getting older, you know, I become more mature, and I realise I get that twinge of somebody challenging me, and I do start to react, and then I slow down. I realise, what am I doing? You know, I'm not bloody Michael Schumacher or I don't know, who is it now? Verstappen, Lando Norris. I'm not a Formula 1 driver or anything. But I thought about doing that, you know, like if you have to have a lot of money to do Formula 1, but to actually get in a Formula 1 car, that was one of my dreams, and race, or just go around the track. Yeah, it's a silly dream. Fantasy. But as a child growing up, I don't know how to answer that question. I just don't know. What do you want me to say? I was a nice kid. I was really shy growing up, really shy. And there was a time when I went with my parents to family, gatherings. They used to go and visit Maria or Paolo or whoever they all were. But there was a point then I stopped going. I said, "Ma, but I don't want to go. Because I got fed up. Sometimes they would, I would sit there in between my parents and I wouldn't know what to say. "Oh, Jada, what do you want? Do you want orange, Coca-Cola?" And they were nice people. You've got little crisps there. There's chipsticks. Those prawn cocktail ones. What they call quavers. It's so nice. Peanuts, and they would talk. I would hear them. They're talking about, "Oh, Roberto got married with this one," and then all the gossip was it. Who's that person you're talking about? "Oh, it's the brother of, Roberto's sisters, brothers, aunties." I couldn't keep up. So I was there, smiling most of the time and being a good boy. But sometimes they would ask me, "Hey, Jero, you have a girlfriend?" I said, "No, I don't have a girlfriend." "Why not? There's a very nice girl there." "You have to get a girlfriend one day, And I get all red. I wouldn't know what to say. What am I supposed to say? I'll get a girlfriend now. Then it would go back again. "Jero, you got a girlfriend now?" I would have to say no again. Little did they know I was so shy, and little did I know I had all this autism, ADHD stuff, all these. I know they're labels, but some people might be saying, "Oh, why do you label yourself with all this ADHD stuff?" Because there are certain things that by labeling them, by putting a proper label. For example, if you get diagnosed with arthritis in the knee and you think, why is it I have to limp all the time? Everyone's normal and I'm limping. What is the problem? You think that there's something inherently inside you, there's a problem. Well, there is. It's called arthritis of the knee. So once you've got that diagnosis, you think, okay, maybe I can eat a kind of diet that will cause less inflammation. Maybe I can do certain exercises and avoid others that would cause less of an impact, less damage on the knee. Once you know what you have, then bingo, then you can, oh right, now we can tackle it. Once you know the enemy, then you can tackle it. But the worst thing is when you don't know the enemy, you don't know, imagine if you're blindfolded and someone's punching you. You don't know where they are, if they're in front of you, behind you, boom, they punch you from behind. But once you take that blindfold off, there you are. You can block, you can do whatever, spit at them, whatever you want to do, bite them. Then you have options because your eyes are open, and this is like an opening of your eyes, your vision. You can see something that you never saw before. At least you know where the problem lies, where it comes from, and you can create a plan on how to deal with it, how to cure yourself, heal yourself, or make your lessen your problem somehow. Deal with the problem somehow. So, now that I know that I have ADHD, autism. You can read up on it and then find out. Okay, what is this ADHD and autism, and how can I fix it? Can it be cured? Can it be healed? Yes, no. Can you cope? Are there coping strategies? And so, in that way, you can hopefully live a more kind of normal life. So, sorry, it's a really terrible answer. I don't know what to say. What were my hobbies? I told you my hobbies. The kind of programs I like growing up, I've watched recently are, the Time Tunnel. Is it Doug and Greg? They go swirling through a time tunnel. I used to watch that on, I think, Thursdays. I used to like that. I've watched it now and it seems so boring. But I love it when the intro is really cool. I've seen some on, Internet Archive. If you check, you'll find some free ones. You can't find any on YouTube, not really. Land of the Giants is something that I never watched as a kid, but when my daughter, Josephine, was growing up, I saw them. They had them on some channel that showed old movies, and she loved it, and I got into it. It was really good. That's an American thing. But I used to, when I was younger, as I said before, used to like, what was it? My dad used to love Kojak and Hawaii 5-0. That. He used to love that. He used to love Kojak, Hawaii 5-0, Starsky and Hutch. The British ones, he would like The Professionals, Sweeney, and The Professionals. What's his name? Martin Shaw. He actually lives next door to me, and he's a nice guy. He's getting on though. He's about 80, but he still looked young, And yeah. So sometimes when I just said that, I think it just goes to show how I've fallen from being a millionaire, living next to like a famous person or famous people, and now having to go into some hut somewhere in the countryside with 6 dogs, and in trouble financially. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pray, and every day, I just don't know. I don't know what the future holds for me. I think it's good. I suppose people think, well, you have to be positive, you have to affirm, you have to manifest. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. And I'll write down my goals, my dreams, and send them out into the universe and ask God for help. I'm doing these videos, I'm doing something, and hopefully I can get something back. Well, actually I am, because I'm producing a video every day, and YouTube really loves consistency. It really loves that. So that's why I'm producing. It's really hard, but I'm producing a video every day. And by doing that, you can generate more, it generates more money for itself through advertising if people click on the advert, or even if they don't watch the advert, but some people will click on the advert or watch the advert, and that's how YouTube get their money, and they give you a cut. Not a lot, but I have to say thank you for Ian Goslin. He gave me a super thanks of £25. It was amazing. I'm so grateful. I just wanted to say though, out of that £25, I think I got 13 or 14 pounds. So they take a massive cut. You know, it's sad. Somebody gives me £25, and I end up with 14 quid. And from that, I have to pay tax. So I end up with about 6 quid or something. But it's still great, you know. I'm really grateful, really, really grateful. Yeah, so talking about my childhood, I think I had a really good childhood. You know, there's one thing about my childhood is that I was really happy. If someone were to ask me, you know, like one of these switched on psychotherapists, psychologists or whatever, how was your childhood? It was great. It was fantastic. All I remember was sunny days in Linden Avenue in Kensal Rise, northwest London. Brilliant. I can't remember anything bad, you know. But, you know, as a child, you have no responsibilities. You don't have really mental health problems. The brain hasn't really started aging, and you can't, and there's lots of things that start to happen with your body as well. So, you know, you're kind of a virgin to life. You know, you haven't gone through anything. My dad used to say, well, this is when I was a bit older though, in my 20s or 30s. He said, son, your bones haven't been broken into yet, because I didn't work, you know, for many years. Like, he used to wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning to go out to work, you know. But he did that all his life from when he was a child, when he used to live on the farm. He used to work on the farm. So he used to, you know, not his owner, but the boss, you know, used to, you know, have a go at him, and like he'd have to wake up early in the morning. So he's so used to that kind of life. But going back to myself, that's all I have to say. I think I was quite gullible. I was happy, really happy. And I was a good boy. It might sound a bit boring, but happiness isn't boring, it's great. So it's just the second half of my life that's a bit, I feel down. And you know, up until I was 28, I was one person. After 28, I was somebody else, because I found out I was adopted when I was 28. When I was 28 years old, I found out I was adopted. I was adopted at the age of 9 days. And so, you know, consciously, I started to feel ill. After that, you know, it's called a crisis of identity. And I didn't trust authority anymore, or anybody. You know, I wasn't gullible anymore. I kind of woke up to a reality so horrible that the realization that possibly my life was a lie. And you might say, what? In which way was it a lie? Well, my cousin, like, he was like my best friend and my, you know, almost like a brother, the nearest thing. He knew that I was adopted since he was a child. And all the times we played together, all the times we were together talking about stuff, and then growing up talking about girlfriends, and then talking about, I don't know, football, talking about everything, it never came up. And of course, it wasn't, he couldn't say anything. But this happened to everyone knew, and I was the only one not to know. So that realization, I look back on all my interactions and throughout all my history, and I had a thought that my life was a lie, or people were lying to me or keeping something from me, obviously. And I feel like a fool. Like, everybody knew, but I didn't know. So everybody was keeping something from me, about me. It's like, the emperor had no clothes. The emperor, like, is completely naked. Everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, you've got nice clothes." It's a lie, isn't it? So yeah, up to that point, I was gullible. I was really good, but after that, I ceased to be good. It was, I don't know. And there's been a big change in me, and I don't know. I think after all this time, I'm healing. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I don't know what it takes. Maybe you can never really heal after finding out that you were adopted. After when you're an adult and it's a shock. As I said, an identity of a crisis of identity crisis, whatever you want to call it. And you might think, what the hell is that identity crisis? Well, you think, like, if your name is John Smith, all your life it's John Smith, and then when you see the birth certificate, let there be light. Well, hang on, yeah. And when you check your birth certificate and it says, I don't know, Dennis Johnson or whatever, you think, huh? Even my name isn't mine. The name that I always thought, John Smith, it's Dennis Johnson. Who the hell's that? Your parents are not your parents. I don't know. Stephen and Jennifer are your parents. They're not my parents. Your parents are someone called, I don't know, Eamon and Brenda O'Connor. Like, it completely screws everything up in your brain. They're Irish, and then your parents are English, and you think, I don't know Irish people. I don't even know anything about their folk traditions. And to be honest, maybe I don't like Irish people. I like my English family. It completely tears you apart. It because you think you're this, and you are, but what about this side? Your genetic side, your biology, whatever. Yeah, it tends to stir up a lot in that brain, and yeah, some people say, come to terms with it. These things happen. Yeah, logically you can come to terms with it, but subconsciously you don't come to terms with it. And it comes out. From your subconscious, things bubble up to the surface. And after a year, I started to have problems. I used to think that I was dying. I had cancer. I had a lump here, lump there. I had illness phobia, cancer phobia, and it was driving my doctors nuts. And so eventually, I had to go. I had a massive argument with my ex, and that was the last straw. I had pain in my head, like numb feeling in my brain, and I was put on Valium for 5 days, or diazepam, and then put on Seroxat or Paxil, and I've tried to come off ever since. But going back to my childhood, I think, yeah, as I said, I'm sorry, it's a really bad answer. I don't know what to say. Maybe I'll do another video and I can do more of an in-depth video. Maybe it's just that at the moment I don't know what to say. Some subjects, I can talk about, but others, the blank forms in my mind, and I just don't know what to say. So anyway, that's the video for today. Sorry about it's really dark, and I was doing my shopping, and I can't really film inside the house, my friend's house, and I can't film in the other house because I don't have my own home. You know, I can't infringe in another person's privacy and film in their house. And I can't film at home because my wife, you know, she has her privacy, so anyway, in a car, the acoustics are quite good because when I speak, the sound bounces off, it's quite close. But that's why I'm going to get a microphone, because I'll be filming from outside, walking, hopefully with the dogs. And so you can see more of the dogs and, a nicer environment. And, I can get myself out of this place. Because some people are saying to me, oh yeah, I've asked a few people for advice online, people who are successful. Like, there's a couple, and I sent them messages to ask them, if they give me some advice. I got nothing back. I think when some channels, when they're small, they're likely to give you some advice, or likely to want to, be your friends. But once they become big, maybe they just don't have any time, or they're too stressed out. But you don't get that help or advice. Their time becomes precious. They have to make more videos, or do, they have to keep working. So, yeah, some guy said by going outside, you can get more views, you can get more, instead of being stuck always in the car. I mean, in the car it's okay because it seems private, and it seems like I'm talking to you and I'm not talking to anyone else, which is true. There's no one here in the car, just me and this camera. So anyway, that's a short video, 37 minutes. I have to try and make my videos shorter, like 10 minutes, because people can't take 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Some people like it, but some people just want to watch a 10-minute, 15-minute video and then go on to the next. So I'll try and make them shorter, and so I can put more videos out. So instead of doing one 37-minute video, I can do 3 10-minute videos. Okay, guys. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye.